Welcome everyone, this is Zozo Stock Watch, and this is your stock watch list for Monday, August 14th. Let's take a quick look at the SPY so we know what's going on for Monday, what we should be looking for. As far as the SPY, as you're aware now, we had this big pop up, and now we've pulled back from there, and we've had some lows here made on the SPY. Friday 243.75. 243.70. So watch that 243.75 spot on the SPY. If that gets taken out, then maybe possibly we go down to the 100 SMA, which is currently around that 241 area, 240.96 to be precise. I have a line here at 240.85. We had a low here at 240.85. After that we have 240. So just keep those numbers on watch, 241, 240, and see what happens if we do break the lows from Friday and Thursday, 243.75. So that's a little brief information for the SPY. Let's go ahead and take a look at your economic information that's coming up for Monday, and really not much coming up for Monday at all, so pretty much clear on that. Companies reporting before the bell on Monday. We have AEY, ASUR, ATNX, AZUL, BASI, BDMS, BSTG, CSIQ, CSPI, DRIO, EBIO. Seeing a lot of social chatter on this one, social media putting this one out, but just be aware they do have earnings, and they have an earnings conference call coming out also on Monday, so keep that in mind. ELTK, ENSV, GURE, JD, PETQ, that's a recent IPO. PLYM, SORL, auto parts maker, SYY, TGA, TGEN, URRE, which is a uranium play, VBLT, and WOW. That's your earnings before the bell. And then for your earnings conference calls for Monday, like I said, you got that CSIQ, EBIO. So those will be around that 8 o'clock hour for their earnings calls. Then you see BSTG around 9 o'clock. Cisco Foods at 10 o'clock. URRE is at 12:30. So this is earnings cast. You can get your earnings calls there. And so hopefully, if you want to listen to earnings calls, that site can help you out. For your futures, take a look at this at around 6 o'clock, www.investor.com, indices futures, and we'll see how the market's going to do for the overnight session. They do start trading around 6 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday night. Let's go ahead and get into the watch list for Monday. And for our watch list for Monday, the August 14th Monday, we're going to start out with ACHN. You see this had a big pop on news. We've pulled back. Let me open this chart for you a little bit. And we've bounced off of that 5 EMA 425 spot. Now let's see if we can clear that 475 and make a run up through $5 on ACHN. Currently, I would think this is just a day trader biotech stock on ACHN. ADMP, this is the one that has the EpiPen with Mylan, so we're looking for that $5 break. If you want to try it a little bit sooner, 490 area, and maybe you get the break of 5 on ADMP. See how it sets up on an intraday chart for ADMP. Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, came down from the highs. Quite a few candles, down in a row, and small bounces in between. Right now, we've never broken the 200 yet on this, so a couple of ways to play this. If it breaks that $12 and the 200 SMA, which is at 1181, you might want to consider a short on AMD. And if we can bounce up over through the highs from Friday, we'll call it 1240, 1245. If it takes out 1245, you could get a possible continuation move on AMD. AVEO, this one holding strong, even on Friday, still holding above the 5 EMA. Obvious number here, the natural resistance is $3, so looking for that $3 break on AVEO. Next up, we got AZPN. And looking for this one to take out, $60 again on AZPN or AZPN. So we'll see what kind of setup this brings. Had 1.5 million shares traded in the name on Friday. Looks like a strong stock. And so get back over like $60.10 could get interesting. DRYS had a big pop on Friday. So we'll have to keep an eye on it, see how it sets up intraday. Can't really give you numbers on DRYS, but if you're a day trader, keep it on watch, possible moves. ePay, strong stock, had earnings, and trying to break out over this 31 spot. Would like a pullback maybe to 29.70 area if possible. And that had 1.4 million shares traded in EPAY. So this one will be on watch for the relative strength and the recent breakout in that name. And this could be a possible swing trade too on ePay. GLBS, same thing as DRYS. If the shippers are going to go, maybe some possible day trades in GLBS. So that would be one that I'm watching. Grub, nice pop, had the earnings, popped up, pulled back nice to the 5 EMA. Nice candle here, hammer forming. So if you get over the highs on Friday, 54.62, so 64.65, you might get a continuation. 54.65, excuse me, 54.65 on GRUB. You might get a possible continuation move on that name for Grub. JMEI, nice pop, over 3 million shares. JMEI. This will be on a lot of watch for day traders because of that volume that came in. The high on Friday was 264, closed 259, so not far off the high. So over 265, possible continuation. Wouldn't play it right away because you could get faked out, especially a Monday morning on a gap up. So let it settle down on JMEI, but keep your eye on this one for a possible trade in that name. KTOS. Full disclosure, I'm in this one. We popped. I played this a couple of times. Popped. Took some profits off. Now I'm back in. You see we're holding the 5 EMA, trying to hold this $12 area. So looking for that 12.50 break now. And this is in the security and protection, KTOS defense. So this one has been holding up through the pullback. LLNW, not a bad looking chart, still in an uptrend, holding above the fast moving averages. If you can get over this 370 spot, possible swing trade, or you can try to pick it up along here, the 13 EMA along that 350 spot, and then use maybe the 20 SMA as your guide, as your stop out on LLNW. MBRX, not a favorite, but if it can get over, let's see, the high on Friday was 291. I would let this one clear. I know it's at 271. For me, it would have to clear $3. If it can get over the $3, you might get a continuation move. Until then, it looks like a bunch of fake outs at this $3. I would let it clear 3 and then maybe pull back to 3. So that's on MBRX. MGTI, nice volume, 1.6 million shares, trying to get over that $1.50. Good candle on Friday, closed high of 147, excuse me. So $1.47. This is a pink name. All right, so this is an OTC. I don't really, call those too often, but just keep your eye if it can break out over that $1.50 spot. The chart looks interesting, but just be warned, it is a OTC pink stock, okay? MNST, funny, we go from MGTI to MNST, but this one over, $54 could give you a continuation. Showed strength, bounced off the 50 SMA, now it's looking maybe to break out. Here's the weekly chart on it. So you see that 54 area is really important. We did have a high of 54.24. So MNST, that won't be on watch for possible, swing trade. Let's see what this candle high was, 55.44. So if it does break over that 54.24 and finally get over $54, you might get a continuation move up to 55 and change. Next one up is Microsoft. This one was mentioned in Barron's over the weekend, saying it has 20% more upside. So it came down. We had the earnings. It ran, pulled back from the earnings. It's hitting the 50 SMA. Now we're pushing back up. The high on Friday was 72.70. So we'll see if this can get over 72.75 area. Maybe we'll get a continuation back up above that 20 SMA. OSK has been getting some big pops, but it's pulled back. It's coming back to the 10 SMA. If it can pull here and you want to try a swing in this, because it is above the 200, the 50, all of those are angling up and sloping up. So if it can get down to maybe 73, it might be interesting to build a position in OSK if you're a swing trader. PACB, nice chart setting up here. The high on the name on Friday, 433, so over 435 if it sets up on an intraday chart. 1.4 million shares, holding above the 5 EMA, and so we'll see if we can get some kind of continuation move in PACB. RADA, RADA, nice pop, volume came in, a little bit of a pullback, but trying to get back over that 220 spot. So if it clears 225, we might get a continuation move in RADA. And note, it is in aerospace and defense, so that's with all the Korean news going on and building up the defense systems and whatnot. RADA could be in the right spot at the right time, so watch that 225 break if you want to try it a little bit sooner. Right as soon as it breaks over 220 maybe, you could try RADA, and this could be a possible swing trade. It's in the right sector at the current time. SBLK shipper, breaking out over this wedge here. 1050 looks like the number to take out. We had a high of 1055 on Friday, so this shipper actually looks good. It's above the moving averages. SBLK looks like it would be a better swing trader than a day trader, so watch that 1050 break area on SBLK. We spoke about this in previous videos, these inverse. So if the SPY is moving down, the SDS will be moving up. So keep your eye on this. If we get that $50 break and those other numbers I gave you on the SPY at the beginning of the video, so keep your eye on SDS for possible play inverse. SEDG, SEDG, solar name, looking for it to take out Friday's high, 2750, big resistance number, right? Mental number, natural resistance 0.50. So watch for that 2750 break on the name. If you want to try it a little bit sooner, you could take it right here and use your 10 SMA as your stop, or try to pick it up on the 10 SMA. So that's SEDG. A lot of ways to maybe play that one. SGMO, big strength, trying to get over 1050. Here we had on Friday, July 14th, we had a high on the name of 1050, and it looks like we're just under that maybe this Friday. Yeah, 1043. So let it clear 1050 SGMO. Here's the weekly on it. So you see open space above if it can clear that 1050 spot. Next one up, SORL. Reminder, this one has earnings Monday morning, so just be cognizant of that. Looking for the $7 break. If it does gap up, then we'll look for an intraday setup maybe on the name SORL. There's been takeover chatter around this name, so some buyers stepped in on Friday. SPPI, looking for this to take out the highs here. There was a previous high on August 8th, and the high there was 927, so maybe over 930 will be enough. Over 925 was the Friday high. So watch for that 930, 927 on SPPI. Let's just take a quick look at the weekly. As you can see, it's clearing out, not much in the way on SPPI. SRPT, and we'll look at this one. We had the big gap up on the earnings. We've pulled back now. We're holding above the 50 SMA, and looking for this one to set up 1.7 million shares. The high on Friday was 3850, so over 3850, maybe this one gets going. Just be aware you have the 20 SMA right there, and that number on that is 3903. All right, so 39.03 if you want to try it at 38.50. You know, SRPT setting up nicely after this big pop pullback, but holding above the 50 SMA. TEUM, you know, interesting chart maybe if it plays out. And this one, kind of, there's your wedge type of pattern. We're holding above the 50. Would have to clear over. I would say, let's see, the high on Friday was $1.04. For me, this would have to get over like $1.08, $1.10, and maybe it becomes even more interesting. TEUM. So if you want to keep an eye on one of the smaller ones, Teva, just before this thing has been gapping down. It's down quite a few days in a row on Teva, TEVA. You know, and now we have a solid, you know, a green candle, kind of some indecision as far as selling or not selling. The high was 17.45. If, you know, around, if we're lucky and this, you know, gaps down again, maybe another 30 cents or so, and this starts to reverse up, say around, you know, 10 o'clock, 10:30, or maybe later around 11, and it could break over that 1750, right? What does God say when man makes plans, right? He laughs. But, you know, that's watch that 1750 break maybe on Teva. We don't know exactly what hour it's going to happen, but you know, we'll see if this one can recoup some of these, you know, big losses. And if you want to look at a weekly, I mean, this chart was over $70 a share, and now it's trading at 17.30. So big hit there on Teva, and you would think it's going to reverse at some point. TGTX, they had news, I believe, on Friday. Almost 2 million shares traded in the name. We have a high 1145, so there's that 1150 number that it needs to take out, and maybe you get a continuation move in TGTX. TOPS, TOPS, just because the other shippers are on watch. I traded this Friday in the pre-market, got a nice trade on it, so this would have to set up intraday, but, you know, pick your poison on a shipper. You know, you may get a nice move, either DRYS, GLBS, DCIX is another one, TOPS. And then the SBLK is more of a swing trade, I think. Did I go over? Well, I'll show it in a second. Here's TIVX, right? And we had all that volatility in the VIX. A lot of people thanked me on my video previous. They didn't even know what TVIX was. And so you see this setting up. We're back over the 50 SMA. So keep, you know, you can keep TZA or SDS or SPXU or TIVX. Or here's the TZA. So keep, you know, some of these inverses on watch. You know, if the market gets hairy with the Korean news. The other stock I was thinking of, and I don't have it on my watch list, was this other shipper, GNK. And this would be more of a possible swing trade if it can get back over, you know, 12. You know, very low volume, but if it can get back over 12, could be interesting. Had a high 1221. Closed 1185. So SBLK and GNK for the shippers. So you might want to add that one to your list. Next up, we have UCTT. This is semiconductor equipment and materials. It's holding this 21. You see the battle going on here at 21, and it's finally back over the 50 SMA. There was a high here on Thursday of 2234. So if it can clear that 2234, you know, we might get a continuation move. UCTT, and that had 1 million shares traded on Friday. Ulta, this purple line you see here is my 400 SMA. Not a lot of people use it, but we have been battling around the 400 SMA in that 245 area. If you would like to play some of the bigger names, if we, you know, clear up over, we'll call it 52, you know, we might get a continuation move in ULTE if you like some of those bigger names. UVXY, and this once again is one of these plays connected to the VIX and the volatility. So volatility is going to, if that's going to be around, you see all the volume that came in. This is kind of protection for your portfolio. You may want to keep it on watch. We are back above the 50 SMA on the UVXY. XXII, this one had the big, you know, had news that the FDA wants to reduce nicotine as far as Philip Morris and Altria, right? Philip Morris and Altria here. So those are weak. And you know, maybe this XXII is going to be, you know, the new darling as far as tobacco. So keep your eye on this. I can't give you exact numbers right now. 5.7 million shares, nice bounce in the name off of $2 on Friday. So we'll see how this sets up intraday as a trader. Yelp, this one had the gap up on the earnings. Now it's trying to push up and break out. The high Friday was 42.18, so maybe over 42.25. You could see a continuation move, or if it pulls back to the 5 EMA. Here's the weekly on Yelp. So you do have some space. You know, this was a $100 stock on Yelp, so we'll see if that one wants to set up also. YRD, big pop on Friday, over 700,000 shares. The high on the name was 38.73 Friday. I mean, I don't want to chase it up here. I would want some kind of pullback. So we'll see how it sets up on YRED. Credit Services. And you see, I guess this was a recent IPO. But if it can break back up over that, you know, 37 area, you know, we might get a continuation move. But this probably has, you know, it's a recent IPO, probably has big spreads and whatnot. But I just noticed this candle on Friday and the strength in the name. Get some big candles. So it might be interesting, but I don't know how it trades. I've never traded it before. We'll take a quick look at a 5-minute chart. And this is pre and post. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty, you know, whippy and whatnot. But I mean, if you catch it right, you can get some nice moves in the name. Here it is. You know, off of this 5-minute pre-post market, 55 EMA. Catch it at the right time. You can get some nice moves, but I'm sure it's not that easy. All right, so that's the stock watch list. If there's any questions or comments, please leave them on the underneath this video. In this description box, I'll be putting links in to all this stuff for you, the futures. So if you want to watch the futures open up at 6 p.m. tonight, Sunday night. If you want this calendar, I'll put that in the description. I usually do. And then here's your earnings cast. That'll be in the description box, the link for that also. So that's it. That's your stocks to watch list. I didn't go with any shorts right now. Let's see how Monday goes. Let's see, you know, how they're going to open this market and if there's going to be any more Korean news coming out. But you do have those inverses I went over. You have the TZA, the TVIX, you have the UVXY, you have SDS, and then this is the SPXU. That was one that I didn't mention. I'll put that on the daily, show you that one. SPXU. So if you play this, if the market's falling and you get in, you can play this to the long side. So basically you're shorting the market by going long the SPXU. It's called an inverse. So if the SPY is moving down and it breaks through some of those levels, this may make a move up. All right, so this has been Zozo Stock Watch. Thank you so much for listening. Appreciate all the retweets and likes and dislikes. It's okay if you don't like my videos. I'm still gonna do them. For every dislike I get a like, so that's what keeps me going. And people are telling me they're getting good knowledge from the videos. All right, thank you very much for listening. Have a great trading day Monday, and enjoy your stocks to watch list. If you didn't like this stocks to watch list, there'll be another one coming up on Tuesday. I do one every day after the market. I make a stocks to watch list, and also in the morning, if you have nothing to do, I make a market morning watch, not a watch list, but news report. So if you want to check that out also on the stream on YouTube. Thank you very much. Have a great evening and good trading Monday and for the week of August 14th through August 18th.